Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving straight into the heart of Belle Époque Paris, into the world of Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec.
He's this fascinating figure, isn't he? An aristocrat by birth, but ultimately the definitive visual chronicler of Paris's Bohemian nightlife.
Exactly. We want to go beyond just those famous Moulin Rouge posters everyone knows.
Right. To really unpack the paradox of his life, a painter, illustrator, printmaker, born into this incredibly privileged world, yet he dedicated his art to the underclass, the performers, the marginalized.
That's the core of it, isn't it? That choice. He's technically a post-impressionist, often grouped with Cézanne, Van Gogh.
Sure, Gauguin, Seurat, but his focus was so different, almost entirely urban, human-centric.
Yeah, he wasn't painting haystacks. He was capturing, as one source puts it, these enticing, elegant, and provocative images of that whole bohemian scene.
Provocative is definitely the word. He had this unblinking gaze, didn't shy away from the gritty reality, and he elevated commercial art, those posters, to something more.
And the value placed on that vision today is just astounding. Remember that auction in 2005?
Oh yeah, Christie's. La Blanchisseuse. The Laundress, an early work.
Sold for over $22 million.
22.4 million, yeah. For a painting of a laundress by a man descended from counts, it says everything about his unique position.
It really does. An aristocrat, capturing the working class, the dancers, the prostitutes of Montmartre. Okay, let's start at the beginning then. His birthright.
It's quite something.
His full name alone tells a story. Henri Marie Raymond de Toulouse-Lautrec Montfa. Born November 24th, 1864.
And not just anywhere, but at the Château de Basque, the family estate down in Aveyron. Proper aristocracy.
We're talking ancient French lineage here, right? Counts of Toulouse, Villepins of Montfort.
Oh, the real deal. If he'd outlived his father, he would have been the Comte de Toulouse-Lautrec. Imagine. Hunting, horses, high society. That was the expectation.
But there's that genetic shadow looming almost immediately. His parents were first cousins.
Yes, their mothers were sisters. A common practice among the aristocracy, then, consolidating wealth and titles.
But with serious potential consequences.
Exactly. Modern medical thinking points to this history of, inbreeding as a likely contributor to his later health problems, his congenital health conditions, as the sources put it.
So the very system meant to preserve his status might have undermined his physical future.
No, it's a deep irony. But before that manifested, the artistic spark was already there.
Right. Around age 8, living in Paris with his mother, he was always sketching, caricatures in his notebooks.
Just constantly drawing. And he got some early informal lessons from a friend of his father's, René Princeau.
Princeau specialized in horses, didn't he?
He did. Very aristocratic subjects. And that early training in depicting movement, anatomy, it comes back later in Lautrec's circus paintings. Quite dynamic stuff.
So even that traditional start had an influence. But then came the turning point, his teens.
Yes, this is where everything changes. At 13, he breaks his right femur.
Okay, a bad break, but maybe recoverable.
But then, just a year later, age 14, he fractures the left one. And crucially, the sources all note the breaks did not heal properly.
That's the key phrase. And the result?
Devastating. His legs just stopped growing. He reached his adult height at 1.52 meters, 5 feet tall. Adult torso, head, but the legs of a child.
And the medical explanation now. It's thought to be a specific genetic disorder.
Well, the consensus points towards something genetic, though it wasn't diagnosable then, of course. Pycnodysostosis is one strong possibility. It causes fragile bones, short stature. It's even sometimes called Toulouse-Lautrec syndrome.
Because his case fits so well.
Precisely. Brittle bones, the fractures just wouldn't heal right, stunted growth plate fusion. Other theories mention conditions like osteopetrosis, achondroplasia, osteogenesis imperfecta, variations on compromised bone growth.
Whatever the exact cause, the impact was life-altering. The expected path-hunting military society just vanished.
Completely. And that physical difference, that exclusion, arguably became the engine for his art.
So the path forward had to be different. He heads back to Paris in 1882 to study art seriously.
Yes, but initially, the family still hoped for a respectable career. They steered him towards Léon Bonnat, a well-known society portrait painter.
The goal was still to be fashionable and respected, fit into their world.
But Bonnat's academic style, it just didn't click with Lautrec, too rigid. So when Bonnat moved on, Lautrec switched to Fernand Cormon's studio. That was 1882 to 87.
And Cormon was more relaxed.
Much more. Less formal instruction, more freedom. And Lautrec used that freedom to explore.
to find Montmartre.
Exactly. The Bohemian heart of Paris. It became his world for the next 20 years. The cafes, the studios, the nightlife.
And he found his people there too, other artists.
Absolutely. At Cormans, he met Emile Bernard, Vincent van Gogh. He actually painted Van Gogh's portrait in 1887. Imagine being in that circle.
Incredible. He starts exhibiting too, but not under his aristocratic name initially.
No, he used a pseudonym for a show in Toulouse in 87, Treclos.
Treclos. Lautrec backwards, basically. Using that French slang, Verlan.
Exactly. It's playful, a bit rebellious, like turning his high society name inside out, fitting for the world he was entering.
His reputation grew quickly in those avant-garde circles, though.
Oh, yes. By 1888, he's showing 11 works at the Vente exhibition in Brussels. That was a big deal, very cutting edge.
And Van Gogh's brother, Theo, bought one of his pieces there.
He did. Poudre de riz rice powder for 150 francs. A nice bit of validation early on. And he was a regular at the Salon des Indépendants in Paris from 89 to 94.
So he's making his mark professionally, but his personal life in Montmartre was just as intense. Suzanne Valadon.
Yes. Met her in 1885. She was an artist, started as a model. They were likely lovers. He really supported her art, painted her several times.
But that ended badly.
Very badly.
Yeah.
Sources say she attempted suicide in 1888 after their relationship ended. It highlights the volatile emotional landscape of that world.
Definitely. But he also showed fierce loyalty, didn't he? Especially defending Van Gogh.
That dual story, it's amazing.
Yeah.
At that Brussels exhibition banquet in 1890, some Belgian artist, Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, starts bad-mouthing Van Gogh's work.
And Lautrec, despite his physical challenges, steps up.
Immediately challenges de Toulouse to a duel, can you imagine? And then Paul Signac, another major painter, offers to fight in his place if Lautrec gets killed.
Wow. That's dedication.
The threat worked. De Toulouse backed down, apologized, duel called off, but it shows Lautrec's spirit, fierce, defiant.
And that defiance shows in his work, too. Even amidst the nightlife, he's still painting landscapes.
Yeah, doing some en-plan air work in Montmartre in Père Fouret's garden. That's where he painted Carmen Godin, the model with the striking red hair.
The one from the laundress. The multi-million-dollar painting.
The very same. So you see him blending that traditional practice with these very modern, non-traditional subjects. That's pure Lautrec.
Okay, let's talk about the place that really made him famous.
Yeah.
The Moulin Rouge. Opened in 1889.
A landmark moment for Paris and for Lautrec. He was commissioned right away to do their posters.
And this was important for him personally, not just professionally, beyond the family money.
Very important. The sources really emphasize this. Having his own income earned through his art, even commercial art, that meant a lot. Psychological independence.
And he basically reinvented the poster, turned it into art.
Absolutely. And the Moulin Rouge knew what they had. They gave him his own reserved seat, displayed his paintings. He wasn't just a contractor, he was their artist in residence almost.
And through those posters, he made the performers into icons.
Icons. Instantly recognizable. Yvette Gilbert, the singer.
With the long black gloves, he captured her look perfectly.
And the dancers, Louise Weber-Le Goulou, the glutton.
The inventor of the can-can. His posters of her just explode with energy. The high kicks, the frills, pure, uninhibited performance.
Total dynamism, but then contrast her with Jane Averill. Much more subtle.
Right. Yeah, he depicts her differently. More sinuous, elegant lines, almost melancholic sometimes.
He captured her unique style perfectly. La Melanite, they called her that mix of quietness and sudden bursts of energy. He got it.
And his posters were everywhere. Other venues commissioned him, too.
Oh, yes. Café des Ambassadeurs. That led to the famous poster of his friend Aristide Bruant in 1892. The black cape, the red scarf. Unmistakable.
He was illustrating for magazines, too, like Le Rire.
Right. In the mid-90s, he was shaping the visual culture of Paris nightlife.
But even with all that success, his deepest artistic focus seems to have been somewhere else. Further down the social ladder.
Yes. The brothels. He was genuinely fascinated, as the sources say, by the lives of prostitutes, the whole urban underclass.
And this wasn't just popping in for a quick sketch. He spent real time there.
A lot of time. Lived alongside them in a way. Stayed frequently at places like the one on Rue d'Amboise. He wasn't just an observer, he was immersed.
And the art that came out of that.
It's incredible. Around 100 drawings, 50 paintings. And they're not sensationalized. Often they show boredom, fatigue, companionship.
Like the Lily series, The Bed. Often just two women together, resting.
Exactly. Quiet moments. Or the big painting, Salon de la Rue des Moulins, painted from memory but with such detail. The women waiting. There's a dignity there.
He explained why he preferred them as subjects, didn't he? Something about models being stuffed dolls.
He did. He said, "A model is always a stuffed doll, but these women are alive." He felt they were authentic, no pretense.
He liked their lack of conceit, how they just relax like animals.
And then that absolutely heartbreaking quote, the one that connects it all back to his own experience.
I have found girls of my own size. Nowhere else do I feel so much at home.
It's devastating, isn't it? That's the key. His fellow painter VR said Lautrec's reasons were moral ones.
Meaning
Lautrec, this physical freak, as VR put it, an aristocrat cut off by his appearance, felt a deep kinship with these women, excluded in their own way. Their moral penury, their marginalization, it mirrored his own physical and social isolation.
So he wasn't just painting subjects, he was painting kindred spirits, granting them artistic permanence.
Precisely. His disability wasn't just a limitation. It was his entry point, his unique lens onto this hidden world.
It's incredible how much work he produced in such a short career. Less than 20 years, right?
Yeah, and plagued by health issues and later alcoholism. But the output is just immense.
What are the numbers again?
Over 700 paintings, nearly 300 watercolors, over 350 prints and posters. And get this, over 5,000 drawings. Plus ceramics, stained glass.
5,000 drawings. He must have had a sketchbook glued to his hand.
Just constantly observing, constantly capturing a visual recording machine.
And stylistically, while he was revolutionary, he did build on what came before. The Impressionists.
Oh, definitely. You see echoes of Manet and his bar and club scenes, that sense of modern life, maybe a touch of alienation. And Degas, for sure, the dancers, the movement, the behind-the-scenes glimpses.
But the really transformative influence, especially for the posters, came from Japan.
Absolutely. Ukiyo-e woodblock prints, they were hugely popular in Paris. Then Japonism, they called it.
And what did he take from that?
The flat perspectives, the bold outlines, the unusual cropping, the focus on line over shading. It fundamentally shaped his approach.
You can see it in his technique. Very linear.
Highly linear. Strong contours defining the figures, and the way he applied paint, often thin washes, long brush strokes, letting the cardboard or canvas show through.
So they almost look like colored drawings sometimes.
Exactly. That's a great description from the sources. Drawings in colored paint. It gave his work speed, immediacy, a graphic punch.
And he used that style to capture individuals so effectively. Not just types, but specific people.
Absolutely. Even in a crowded cabaret scene, his figures are distinct. You could identify La Goulou or Jane Averill just by their silhouette. He was a master observer of posture, gesture.
And his attitude towards them. Sometimes sympathetic, sometimes quite detached.
Yes, it varied. You feel empathy for the women in the brothel paintings, their vulnerability. But then he could be quite coolly observational, almost clinical when depicting the less savory aspects of the wealthy patrons. He just showed it like it was.
He also had connections outside France, particularly London. His family helped there.
His family were Anglophiles, yeah, and he spoke English reasonably well, so he traveled to London for work.
Got commissions?
He did. J&E Bella Company hired him for a poster for paper confetti. Apparently plaster confetti got banned after a messy Mardi Gras.
Huh. Necessity is the mother of invention and poster commissions.
Seems so. And he did that great bicycle ad, too, LaShane Simpson. Showed how well his style worked for commercial products.
And in London, he connected with Oscar Wilde.
Yes, became friends. And Lautrec was a strong supporter when Wilde faced his trials in 1895.
He painted Wilde that same year, didn't he?
He did. Painted his portrait right in the midst of that scandal. It's another example of Lautrec standing by someone marginalized, an outcast from high society, just like he connected with the outcasts of Montmartre. It ties his art to the big moral dramas of the time.
Okay, before we get to the sad final chapter, there's this completely unexpected side to Lautrec we have to talk about, the gourmet.
It seems so out of character with the usual image, doesn't it? But yes, like Monet, he was known as a serious food lover, one of the most serious gourmets among the artists.
His cousins apparently called him Henri the Cook before he was famous.
That's right. He don't just like eating. He loved cooking, planning meals, the whole presentation. It was another art form for him.
Designing menus as artworks, hosting these legendary parties.
Oh, the parties. That 1895 bash at Natansen's place is famous. 300 guests, supposedly 2,000 cocktails served.
And Lautrec was the chef and bartender for the whole thing.
Sole chef and bartender. Apparently, he even dressed the part, white linen jacket, shaved head, no beard. Quite the performance.
And the kicker is, despite all the booze flowing,
He was reportedly the only one still standing, sober, at the end of the night. Shows a certain kind of control, at least when he was orchestrating the event.
That control didn't last, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But his food legacy did. There's a cookbook.
There is. His friend Maurice Joyant published his recipes after his death. La cuisine de Monsieur Momo, célibataire Mr. Momo's cooking, bachelor style, later revised as l'art de la cuisine,
With his signature Catalan salad recipe in there.
among 150 others. Charles Stuckey, the art historian, called it the first cookbook published by an artist, posthumously of course, a unique footnote to his career.
But that control we mentioned, it clearly slipped. The alcoholism became overwhelming.
It really did. And biographers often link it back to the constant mockery he faced about his height, his appearance, alcohol as an escape from that pain.
And it escalated from beer and wine.
The spirits, especially absinthe, the Green Fairy, became his go-to.
He even invented a cocktail, didn't he? The earthquake.
The tremblement de terre sounds terrifying. Half absinthe, half cognac in a wine glass.
Good grief. That's not sipping. That's aiming for oblivion.
Pretty much signals the intent, doesn't it? And he made sure it was always available.
The hollowed out cane?
Yeah, kept it filled with liquor. His addiction literally built into his walking aid, constant access.
The inevitable crash came in 1899.
February 99. Collapsed from exhaustion, chronic alcoholism. His family had him committed. Foley St. James Sanatorium.
How long was he there?
3 months. But even inside, he kept working. Produced those 39 circus drawings, proving his sanity through his art, essentially.
He got out, but the decline continued.
Sadly, yes, the damage was done. Alcoholism, combined with a syphilis contracted earlier, his health just fell apart physically and mentally.
And he died so young.
36. Passed away on September 9th, 1901, back at his mother's estate, Chateau Melrome.
Such a short, intense life. Any record of his final words?
Reportedly, le vieux con, the old fool, possibly aimed at his father who was present. A bitter end.
But his art lived on, thanks to his mother and Joël.
They were instrumental, promoted his work, helped fund the Musée Toulouse-Lautrec in Albi, his hometown. It now holds the world's largest collection. His legacy was secured.
What a journey we've traced. The highest aristocracy, the debilitating disability, cutting him off, finding this new home, this connection in the lowest rungs of Montmartre society. And then that hidden talent for cooking.
The contrasts are just staggering. But his art, it's all about that honest observation. He didn't judge, he just saw. And he immortalized people. Le Goulou, Jane Averill, the anonymous women in the brothels, giving them a permanent society denied them. He truly elevated the poster, the everyday image, into fine art.
It really seems like his difference, his exclusion, became his superpower as an artist. It gave him access and empathy no one else in his original circle could have had.
I think that's absolutely right. He was forced outside, and from that vantage point, he saw things more clearly, perhaps more truthfully. Which leaves us with a thought, doesn't it, for you, the listener?
Yeah. What unique knowledge, what kind of insight really can only be gained when you're forced, or maybe choose, to stand completely outside the usual expectations? When you observe from the margins, Lautrec's life suggests there's a profound, if difficult, truth to be found there.